Good morning. Welcome to the Barberton Municipal Court. My name is Judge Jill Flagg Lanzinger. We do have quite a big crowd today, so I'm going to try to get through each of you as quickly as possible. Um, Today, most of you are here for what's called an arraignment. An arraignment means I tell you about your charge and the potential penalties. I'll talk to you as a group about your rights, and then you'll enter some type of plea to the charge or charges, and I'll talk to you about the different types of pleas you can enter in this court. First, here are your rights. You have the right to have the nature of the charges and possible penalties explained to you. You have the right to have an attorney. You have the right to a reasonable continuance to secure and consult with an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, the court can appoint you an attorney at no cost. If you're here today for a traffic citation that doesn't involve potential jail time, we don't appoint attorneys for those types of cases, but you are free to hire your own attorney or to represent yourself. You have the right to reasonable bail. You can't be forced to make any statements at any point in the proceedings, but any statement you do make in this court is recorded and could be used against you. You have the right to have your case tried in front of a judge or a jury. You have the right to a reasonable continuance of a trial if you request. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and to subpoena them into court. You have the right to confront any witnesses who testify against you, and you have the right to have a prosecutor prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of every element of the charge you're here for today or charges. Those are your rights. Like I said, today's an arraignment. It means you'll enter some type of plea. One type of plea is a not guilty plea. A not guilty plea is a denial of the allegations. If you enter a not guilty plea in this court today, we'll set your case for another court date, and you'll have the opportunity to exercise all of those rights I just told you about. Another type of plea is a guilty plea. A guilty plea is a complete admission of the truth of the facts in the complaint and a complete admission of guilt to the charge. If you do enter a guilty plea to the charge or charges, you will be waiving or giving up all of those rights I just told you about. Also, if you enter a guilty plea in the court today, the court may sentence you today without delay. Another type of plea is a no contest plea. A no contest plea is an admission of the truth of the facts in the complaint, but not an admission of guilt, but it permits the court to make a guilty or not guilty finding. If you do enter a no contest plea in this court today, you will be again waiving all those rights I just told you about, the trial rights. Also, if you enter a no contest in a plea in this court today and the court finds you guilty, the court may sentence you today without delay. If you're not a United States citizen, pleading guilty or no contest could lead to deportation, exclusion from admission, or denial of naturalization. If you're on probation or parole, a plea of guilty or no contest could lead to a violation of your probation or parole. And finally, if you are here for a traffic citation, if you're convicted of a traffic citation, a record of your conviction does go to the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles. It does become part of your driving record. An action taken by the BMV with regard to your driver's license is independent of this court. For example, it's the BMV that puts those points on your license. It's the BMV that could suspend your license if you have too many points. It's also the BMV that suspends your license if you don't show proof of insurance at the time of a traffic citation. If you are here today for a traffic citation and you didn't show the officer proof of insurance at the time you were pulled over, you can show me that proof of insurance, and I can mark that you had insurance at the time of the citation. And we'll start with Judy Lane.
We can read the other ones in the other court.
Good morning, ma'am. Did you understand all the rights that I read?
I did.
You're charged with no fishing license. That's a misdemeanor of the 4th degree. That carries potentially up to 30 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $250. That charge is from September 1st, 2011. In the city of Barberton, Summit County, Ohio, it says that you did knowingly fish without a valid fishing license on the Ohio Erie Canal towpath. Do you understand the allegation?
I do.
How do you want to plead today?
No contest.
I will accept your no, well, before I accept your no contest plea, do you understand you have the right to have an attorney?
Yes.
Do you want to proceed here today with your no contest plea and waive your right to have an attorney?
Yes.
Are you able to read and write English?
Yes.
Okay, this form here has all the rights I just went over with you as a group. I've Xed the box that you're waiving your right to counsel today, like you told me you want to. I've Xed the box that you're able to read and write English and that you understand your rights and that you want to plead no contest to this charge, and I've written that charge in here. If you agree with everything on this form, then you date and sign it right there.
Yes.
Get your pen. Today's the 30th. Since you signed that, I will accept your no contest plea. It looks like the facts in this case, according to the complaint, is that you were fishing on the towpath with no fishing license. So the court is going to find you guilty. We will proceed to sentencing. Is there anything you want to tell me before I impose a fine? I'm going to sentence you to a $25 fine plus court costs. I'm giving you a lower fine because because the case is so old, they'll have a lot of court costs, okay? Do you need time to pay?
Yes.
So the only thing you'll need to do before you leave here today is have a seat in the hallway. Someone from our clerk's office will call your name and help you with the payment plan. All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Terry Claire? Good morning. Did you understand all those rights that I read?
Yes.
You're charged with, it says life jacket required on the ticket. That's a minor misdemeanor. No potential jail time, but a potential fine of up to $150. That ticket is from 7/11/20. It looks like at Portage Lake State Park, at the city of New Franklin, Summit County, Ohio. Do you understand the allegation? How do you want to plead today?
No contest.
I'll accept your no contest plea. It says that life jacket required, so it says you were observed operating a kayak with a life jacket. The court's going to find you guilty. Do you have anything you want to say before I impose a fine?
I did try to pay the fine over the phone.
Yeah.
I was on hold for more than 35 minutes and hung up, so.
I think you would have had to come in because it's mostly, this hardly, these tickets are not probably in the waiverable.
Yeah, they didn't have any
Yeah.
information on.
Because this isn't something we see all the time.
Right.
It's usually the traffic ones that are waiverable. So probably someone didn't have an answer.
No, it was hard to find it on the website too.
So I'm going to sentence you to a $35 fine plus court costs. Do you need time to pay?
I don't believe
So if you have a seat in the hall, someone will call your name and tell you how to make that payment.
Thank
you. Joe Shiplet? Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, did you understand all the rights that I read?
I did.
You're charged with operating without a boat license. That's a misdemeanor of the 4th degree. It carries potentially up to 30 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $250. It looks like your ticket is from July 4th, 2020 near Portage Lake State Park in the city of New Franklin, Summit County, Ohio, alleging Ohio Boaters Education. Do you understand the allegation?
I do.
How do you want to plead today?
I plead guilty.
Okay. I'll accept your guilty plea and find you guilty. Is there, this is a potentially jailable offense, so I do have to ask this question. Do you understand that you have the right to counsel here today?
I mean, I guess.
I'm not going to sentence you to jail.
Okay.
I just have to ask that question when there's potential jail sentence.
Gotcha.
Do you want to waive your right to have counsel here today?
Yeah.
Are you able to read and write English?
Yeah.
That's a little tricky law because if you're a certain age, you don't need a license.
Yeah, I think before if you're born in
Right. It
1980.
depends on when you're born. So
Yeah.
if you're older, you can just use your license,
Yeah.
driver's license.
Yeah.
But if you're younger, you have to actually get a license.
Yeah. So my parents didn't know that when they arrived.
I live on the lakes too, so I
Okay.
happen to be familiar with that. All right. So this here has the rights I just went over with you. I've Xed the box that you're waiving your right to counsel like you told me you want to do. I Xed the box that you're able to read and write English and that you understand those rights and that you want to plead guilty to this charge.
Yeah.
If you would just state and sign
Yeah.
there, if you agree. Today's Friday. Since you've signed that, I will accept your guilty plea and find you guilty.
Yeah.
We will proceed to sentencing. I'm not thinking about jail time at all.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to tell me before I,
Yeah, I mean, I guess when it comes to, if you said you're not doing sentencing like a fine, I can show you this. When I was operating that, I was timestamping photos. The officer broke my mirror off on that, and I think it's gonna cost like $150 to replace. So I don't know if that's.
while you were being pulled over?
Yeah, he grabbed my hand and pulled me into his boat and broke the mirror off.
I see.
So I don't know if that means anything, or I just wanted to.
In terms of this case, it wouldn't be an issue I could address, but there's a way you could address it, but it would probably involve some type of civil.
Okay.
So you might want to just bring it to their attention
Yeah.
and see if they may pay for that.
Yeah, I tried to.
Okay.
I didn't get anything back. So.
And then the alternative is to potentially talk to a lawyer about it. But sometimes when it's such a small amount of damage, right, it's difficult. All right. So all you need to do, I'm going to send you a $35 fine, and all you need to do is have a seat in the hallway,
Okay.
and they'll help you with that payment. Do you need a payment plan today, or are you good?
Okay.
All right, so they'll tell you that total amount.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Austin Dyrus. Good morning, sir. Did you understand all those rights that I read? All right, you're charged with operating without a boater's license. That's a misdemeanor of the 4th degree. That carries potentially up to 30 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $250. Reckless operation of a boat. That's a misdemeanor of the 4th degree. That carries potentially up to 30 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $250. Missing Ohio number. That's a minor misdemeanor. No potential jail time, but a potential fine of up to $150. Looks like that ticket is from 7/18/20 in the township of Coventry, Summit County, Ohio, alleging those what I just said, no operators, no OBEC, reckless operation, and number of WC. Do you understand the allegations here? How do you want to plead today?
I'm guilty.
Before I accept your guilty plea, do you understand that you have the right to have an attorney here today?
Yeah.
Do you want to proceed with your guilty plea and waive your right to have an attorney? Are you able to read and write English?
Yeah.
this form has the rights I went over with you as a group. I've Xed the box that you're waiving your right to counsel like you told me you want to. I've Xed the box that you're able to read and write English, and that you want to plead guilty to the no voter's license, the reckless off of a vote, and the missing number violation. You agree with all of this, you sign where it says defendant there right at the bottom. Right here. Since you've signed that, I will accept your guilty pleas and find you guilty. We will proceed to sentencing. Again, I'm not thinking about jail time at all. Is there anything you want to tell me before I impose a fine?
The like stickers and stuff, it's not my jet ski, so I didn't know like it wasn't stickered properly. And then as far as the boating card, I thought you just needed your driver's license. And it was my first time like ever on a jet ski. So when we were in the like speed zone, I didn't know you had to go counterclockwise. And then that's whenever the sheriff pulled me over, he explained everything. And then my brother got pulled over on the other side of the lake at the exact same time by the DNR, I think it was. And he was told about the same 3 citations, but just got a warning. So that's why I wasn't like, quite sure, but
There are some tricky rules on the lake if you don't go there all the time. I understand that. I'm going to sentence you to a $35 fine plus court costs on the no voter's license. I'm going to sentence you to a $10 fine plus court costs on the reckless off of a vote, and then another $10 plus court costs. The court costs, because there are 3 separate charges, it's going to be a little higher than you just had one. Do you need time to pay?
I'm pretty sure I got enough money.
And if you do need time to pay, we can allow you to do that when you get that total. So if you have a seat in the hallway, someone will call your name and tell you that total amount due, okay? Thank you. Floyd Wise? Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, did you understand all those rights that I read?
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with failing to stop for a school bus. That's a minor misdemeanor. No potential jail time, but a potential fine of up to $150. That ticket is from 7/15/20 in the city of New Franklin. It says stopping for a school bus. Do you understand the allegation?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you want to plead today?
No.
All right, the court will accept your no contest plea. It does say that you failed to stop for a school bus. The court is going to find you guilty. Is there anything you want to tell me?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to apologize first for doing this. I've never done it in my life. I made a wrong assumption because I did wait behind the school bus for approximately 5 minutes or more. And there was a woman standing beside the bus, and I thought she was arguing with the bus driver. I did go around the bus. I went very slowly and looked over. I didn't think school was in session. I thought perhaps they were taking the bus on a run after they fixed it.
Yeah.
And so I apologize, and I would like to apologize to the people that I frightened.
Thank you for the apology.
I feel bad about it.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to send you a $50 fine plus court costs. Do you need time to pay?
Yes, ma'am. I'm on fixed income.
When do you get paid on your fixed income?
The third Wednesday of each month.
So we'll make your payment due on the 5th of every month, okay?
Yes, it would work better for me if it was like right after the third. Hey, I'm sorry to bother you with this.
The third, you get paid on the third of every month?
Third Wednesday.
Oh, third Wednesday.
I'm so sorry.
So
Yes,
tell me what day of the month you want to pay.
Let's see, 21st. That would be closest to guess, because it varies from the 15th to the 21st.
So we can do the lowest we go is $25.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you have a seat in the hallway, someone will help you with that payment plan.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
You have a wonderful day.
Sarah Updike. Good morning, ma'am. Did you understand all those rights that I read?
Yes.
You're charged with driving under suspension as a first-degree misdemeanor. It carries potentially up to 180 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $1,000. That tickets from 7/12/20 in the city of Greene, Summit County, Ohio, alleging you're driving under suspension. Do you understand the allegation here?
Yes.
Right, it looks like somebody talked to you about our split program. Are you interested in that program?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you enter the program, you must enter a guilty plea?
Yes.
That you get a valid, pay the slip fee, get a valid license, come back with the court costs, and then we'll dismiss your case.
Yes.
If you don't do one of those things, if by some point, then we do sentence you as if you never participated in the program. Do you understand that?
I do.
All right. So, knowing all of your rights, how do you want to plead today?
Yep.
You understand you do have the right to have an attorney present?
Yes.
Do you want to make this guilty plea today without an attorney present and waive your right to have an attorney present? Are you able to read and write English?
Yes.
So this form here has all the rights I just went over with you. I've Xed the box that you're waiving your right to counsel. I've Xed the box that you're able to read and write English. I've Xed the box that, or I've put that you are pleading guilty to driving under suspension as a first-degree misdemeanor. If you agree with everything on this form, then you sign right here where it says defendant. Since you signed this, I will accept your guilty plea and enter you into the split program. We'll give you a date to come back. If you get everything done and you have the court cost money before that date, you can come in. It's usually not this busy at 9
Can I
a.m.
pay some or pay $100 of it today?
You pay the $100 split fee today.
Yes. Okay.
And then you pay the court costs whenever you have them, and you have the valid license. I'm just saying if you want to get it taken care of, dismissed earlier than your date.
Right.
If you don't have everything done by the date, still come in,
Yeah.
because you may be able to get an extension.
Okay.
If you have a seat in the hallway, they'll take that slip fee, give you a date to come back, all right?
Okay,
Thank you. John Everett? This person here, it says he has a corresponding traffic case. I can't find the traffic. Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Did you understand all those rights that I read?
Yes.
All right, you're charged with speeding and reckless operation. Those are both minor misdemeanors. They each carry potentially up to $150 fines on each charge. The complaint alleges on 7/25/20 in the city of Greene, Summit County, Ohio, that it's a speed 110 and a 45 and reckless operation on the ticket. Do you understand the allegations here?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you want to plead today?
No contest.
The court will accept your no contest plea, and I have to accept the facts and the complaint is true, so I'm going to find you guilty. Is there anything you want to tell me before I impose a fine?
Car normally only sticks to the track when I'm running it hard. I just got caught, showed up for a friend who was back
Okay. We're gonna sentence you to a $50 fine plus court costs on the speeding, and then a $30 fine on the reckless plus court costs. Do you need time to pay?
No.
And it looks like you showed insurance, so you're all set there.
Perfect.
All you need to do is have a seat in the hall, and then we'll call your name and give you that total amount due.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan Trenary or Trenary? Good morning.
Morning.
Did you understand all those rights that I read? You're charged with open container, that's a minor misdemeanor, no potential jail time, but a potential fine of up to $150. That ticket is from July 11th, 2020 in City of Norton, alleging no person shall have in the person's possession an open container of beer or intoxicating liquor. It says to wit, open can of 12-ounce Budweiser beer, open bottle of vodka. Do you understand the allegations here? How do you want to plead to this?
Guilty.
We'll accept your guilty plea and find you guilty. Is there anything you want to say before I impose a fine?
Okay.
I'm going to sentence you to a $40 fine plus court costs. Do you need time to pay? All right, so all you need to do before you leave is have a seat in the hall, and someone will call your name and help you with that payment plan. Thank you. Sarah Shaheen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you understand all of those rights that I read?
Yes.
You're charged with reckless operation. That's a minor misdemeanor. It carries potentially up to $150 fine, no potential jail time. That charge is from July 25th in the city of Greene, Summit County, Ohio, alleging reckless operation. Do you understand the allegation?
Yes.
How do you want to plead today?
No contest.
It looks like your no contest plea, and it looks like the allegation is that you were operating a Jeep Cherokee, you drove over the fog line onto the berm. So the court is going to find you guilty. Do you have anything you want to say before I impose a fine? Thank you. I'm going to sentence you to a $40 fine plus court costs. Do you need time to pay? Right. It looks like the officer did mark yes. It's kind of confusing because it looks like he marked no and then yes. The initial the yes, so I'm going to take that as a yes.
For time to pay?
No, for the insurance.
Oh, yes, yes.
See, you do have insurance.
Yes.
It says you have insurance. Right. If you have a seat in the hallway, somebody will help you. Did you say you needed a payment plan? I didn't.
No, can I pay it online when I go home today?
Yes, I just let the clerk's office know that you're going to do that.
Okay.
I'll tell you that if you don't end up making that payment, I believe you will. But
Okay.
when people don't make a payment at all, it does start to affect your driver's license.
Yeah, we'll pay. My husband just wants to pay himself online.
Online, that's fine. Just make sure you do it in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
It won't show up online for another probably hour or two because it has to be entered into the system.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I'd let them know that before you leave so they don't think you just left without paying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica Hutchinson. Did you understand all those rights I read?
Yes.
You're charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. That's a misdemeanor of the 4th degree. It carries potentially up to 30 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $250. That ticket's from July 26, 20 in the city of Barberton, alleging that you did knowingly use or have in your possession with purpose to be used drug paraphernalia to wit one glass pipe in violation of the Barberton codified ordinances. Do Do you understand the allegation? How do you want to plead today? Before I accept your no contest plea, do you understand you have the right to have an attorney? Do you want to proceed here today with your no contest plea and waive your right to have an attorney? So this form here has all the rights I went over with you. I've Xed the box that you're waiving your right to counsel. I've Xed the box that you're able to read and write English like you told me you could. I've indicated that you want to plead no contest to possession of drug paraphernalia. You agree with everything on this form, and you date and sign where it says defendant. Today is the 30th. So since you've entered a no contest plea, you've admitted the facts in the complaint, and the complaint does say that you have one violation. So the court is going to find you guilty. Is there anything you want to tell me before I impose a fine? No? You have to say it out loud. Because you're being recorded. I'm going to send you a $40 fine plus court costs. You need time to pay. If you have a seat in the hallway, someone will help you with that payment plan. Thank you. Thank you. Kenneth Miller?
Appreciate it.
Good morning. So did you understand all the rights that I read?
Pretty much.
All right. Is there anything you don't understand?
Momentarily.
Well, I'm sorry.
Momentarily.
Momentarily, there's something you don't understand?
I understand.
You do understand. All right. You're charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. That's a misdemeanor of the 4th degree. That carries potentially up to 30 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $250. That ticket is from July 2nd, 2020 in the city of Barberton, alleging that you did knowingly possess with purpose to use drug paraphernalia to lit a glass crack pipe in violation of the revised code. Do you understand the allegation? Do you understand the allegation? Just for the record, the defendant's nodding his head yes. How do you want to plead today?
I want to say that was true.
Okay, so you want to plead guilty? Yes. For the record, the defendant's nodding his head yes. Do you understand you have the right to have an attorney here today? Is that a yes, a nodding yes?
Yes.
Do you want to plead guilty and waive your right to have an attorney present?
Yes.
Are you able to read and write English?
Yes.
Right, so this form here has all the rights I went over with you at the beginning. I've Xed the box that you're waiving your right to counsel like you told me you want to do. I've Xed the box, excuse me, that you can read and write English and that you want to plead guilty to possession of drug paraphernalia. If you agree with this, then you sign where it says defendant right here. And
Waivers mean I gotta pay for it, right?
no, waiver means that you you have the right to have an attorney here, but you're waiving that right. Waiving the right to have an attorney with you here today. If that's what you want to do. And I'll just tell you, I'm only going to sentence you to a fine and court cost.
Okay.
Okay?
Sign where it says defendant.
Where it says defendant, if you agree with all of that.
Don't worry about it.
I'll put the date in. If you don't. Alright. Since you signed that, I will accept your guilty plea and find you guilty. Is there anything you want to say before I impose a fine?
I want to thank you, Don. But I haven't.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to sentence you to a $40 fine plus court costs.
Okay,
Do you need time to pay?
yes.
All right, sir. So the only thing you need to do is have a seat in the hallway, and somebody will help you with that payment plan. All right? Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I just put that here. Did you find the other guy's phone? Chase Lash? Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Did you understand all those rights that I read?
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs. That's a first-degree misdemeanor that carries potentially up to 180 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $1,075. Also, OVI, operating a vehicle under the influence, is what's called an enhanceable offense, meaning if you plead guilty or you're found guilty of OVI in this case, if you're charged again with it in the future, the penalties become more harsh. And also, this conviction could be used to elevate a new charge of OVI in the future to a felony. Do you understand what I mean by
Yes,
that? Also, every OVI has its own set of mandatory minimum penalties, depending on how many past convictions you have of OVI, how recent those convictions were, also whether you submitted to a test or not. In your case, the allegation is on 7/25/20 in the city of Green that you were operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs. It says you have no prior convictions for OVI. The ticket does not tell me whether you submitted to a chemical test, but they do have you charged under the A1A section, so that means that the mandatory minimum penalties for you are 3 days in jail or 3 days in a driver intervention program. The mandatory minimum fine the court would have to impose is a $375 fine. The court must suspend your driver's license for at least 1 year, up to 3 years. You couldn't be eligible for driving privileges until after 15 days of the incident. Those are the mandatory minimum penalties associated with this charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
There's also a failure to control charge. That's a minor misdemeanor. It carries no potential jail time, but a potential fine of up to $150. That's on that same date, time, and place. Do you understand that charge as well?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you want to plead today?
No contest.
I can't accept a no contest plea on this charge.
Okay.
If you plead not guilty and you want to talk with the lawyer, if you plead not guilty, you can talk with the lawyer. If you pled guilty today without a lawyer, considering your past history, I'd likely just sentence you to the minimum mandatory minimum.
Okay, yeah,
penalties here.
plead guilty.
Before I accept your guilty plea here today, do you understand you do have the right to have an attorney present?
Yes,
Do you want to proceed here today with this guilty plea and waive your right to have an attorney?
yes, ma'am.
Are you able to read and write English?
Yes, ma'am.
So this form has all of the rights I went over with you as a group. It X the box that you want to waive your right to counsel. It X the box that you're able to read and write English and you understand your rights. I also X the box that I fully advised you of the felony implications. That's what I said about the enhanceability of this charge, that it could be used to enhance another charge, enhance a future charge to a felony. And that you want to plead guilty to operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs. You agree with all of that? You sign where it says defendant. Since you sign that, I will accept your guilty plea and find you guilty of operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs. We will proceed to sentencing. Is there anything else you want to tell me before I impose a sentence?
Yeah, I'd just like to say what happened.
Sure.
Just had a long day at work, and I've been away for work. I've been in West Virginia. Came home. This was late Friday night. Decided to go get some food and a couple beers with the buddies. Decided to leave early. On my way home, just nodded off, fell asleep. Went up the center, hit a curb, went over into the ditch. And sheriff obviously did the field sobriety test. I failed the balance one. I'm a big guy, and didn't necessarily think I was impaired. Obviously fell asleep, and then I went back to the sheriff's office and blew under the thing. It was .063, I believe.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I guess it is what it is, but
I am going to do what I said and sentence you to the minimums here. I'm sentencing you to $375 fine plus court costs. Do you need time to pay?
no, I can pay that today.
I'm sentencing you to 180 days in the Summit County Jail, but I'm suspending 177 of those days on the condition that you obey all law for the next 2 years. In lieu of the 3 days in jail that I didn't suspend, I'll allow you to do a driver intervention program that you can schedule.
Okay. Do I do that today or? Okay.
I'm suspending your driver's license for 1 year. Commencing the date of the incident. And then you'll be able to get driving privileges or work or whatever, grocery shopping. You have a sheet that tells you what you need to bring in for the driving privileges.
Okay.
But you can't get those until 15 days of the incident. But you can come back on that 15th day and get that privilege letter.
Come here. Okay.
Also, the BMV will put 6 points on your license for this. So just be careful about your. All you have to do is have a seat in the hallway. They'll show you how to schedule the 3-day driver intervention program. You can pay your fine and court costs, and then once 15 days is up, you can come to this court. As soon as that's up, get those privileges. Okay.
Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ian Flint? Good morning, sir. I had called your name earlier, but I was missing one of your files. Did you understand all the rights that I read? You're charged with possession of marijuana. That's a minor misdemeanor. No potential jail time, but a potential fine of up to $150. That tickets from 7920 in the township of Coventry, alleging that you did knowingly obtain, possess, or use marijuana on Schedule 1 controlled substance in violation of the revised code, or minor misdemeanor. There's also a expired plates, minor misdemeanor from 2015. That is a case that's already resolved. I see. You're on a payment plan for that. Then there is a driving under suspension charge. That's a first-degree misdemeanor that carries potentially up to 180 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $1,000. That tickets from 7920 in the township of Coventry, as Summit County, Ohio, alleging you were driving under a suspended license. It's a CF. Court forfeiture is what I believe that is. Do you understand the allegations here? With regard to the possession of marijuana and the driving under suspension charge, how do you want to plead?
No contest, and I got signed up to you guys' program out here.
You want to do the split program?
So I have to come back on the 18th to pay the.
Sure. Okay. Before I accept your, so you can do the split program for the driving under suspension. For the marijuana, I have to do it separate. How do you want to plead to that one? Okay. So, and then to be in the split program, you have to plead guilty. Is that what you want to do today?
Yes.
Okay. I'll accept your no contest plea on the marijuana charge. And I have to accept the facts and the complaint as true, as you admitted on that. So I'm going to find you guilty. Is there anything you want to say before I impose a fine on that?
Yes, actually, I just dropped people off, and it was one with somebody else's marijuana. They left in the back, they bag and it closed.
Okay.
But since I got caught with it, you know,
I see. All right, I'm going to send you a $35 fine plus court costs. I'm going to give you time to pay on this one. Do you have $50 today
yes.
in addition to the slip program fee?
But you told me I could come pay that back on the 8th.
The reason I'm asking is because you have a case where you need to be on a payment plan on it that's older. It's like you owe $62.
That's old.
This expired plate says that you owe $62. Oh, it looks like, oh, but you know what? It looks like it took you off the, no. I'll show you. Expired plates, a 2015 case.
No. Maybe.
All right. Well, we'll put you on the payment plan for both.
I get paid next week.
Okay.
Next Friday.
It's only $62, that's it. All right, so, before I accept your guilty plea on the driving under suspension, do you understand you have the right to have an attorney present?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to waive your right to have an attorney present today?
Yes, I do.
Are you able to read and write English?
Yes, ma'am.
So this form has all the rights I just went over with you. I've X the box that you're waiving your right to counsel. I've X the box that you're able to read and write English and understand your rights. And that you want to plead guilty to driving under suspension as a first-degree misdemeanor. If you agree with all of this on this form, you sign where it says defendant there. Alright, since you've signed that, I will accept your guilty plea and enter you into the split program. tell you too, if you get everything done early and you want to come in and get this dismissed, you can just come into the court at 9 or 1 o'clock.
Just walking.
If by the date they give you, you're not finished doing what you need to do, or you don't have all the money, if you come into the court you have to come into the court on that date, and you could probably ask for an extension. You could probably get, yeah. Just in case, sometimes people get afraid to come back to court if they don't have everything done. They think that we're going to do something, and we don't. We typically, 99% of the time, give the person an extension, okay? But usually it's just one. And so the only thing you need to do before you leave is have a seat in the hall so they can take the slip fee money and give you that date to come back.
Do I have to go to, Canton, pay that?
Um,
Reinstatement fee, or can I do that here?
You mean the BMD?
Yeah,
Oh, I believe you can pay reinstatement fees any BMD. So, I don't know everything you have to do with your license. Sometimes I have a printout here of what's happening with your license. In your case, I don't. But if that's the only thing you have left to do, then that'll be pretty easy, right? Yeah, right. All right, so good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Mhm. This one looks like it's resolved, or this one looks like it's resolved already. I'm gonna allow you.
It's right here.
Are they back in?
They're in here.
Okay. Zone? Good morning. All right, looks like you're here today for a sealing. Oh no, you went through the diversion program, and you're here today for a final disposition on that. It looks like you did everything you were supposed to do. Do you have court cost money today?
Yes, I have everything.
Great. So the court is going to go ahead and dismiss your charges, seal your record, including your arrest record, so you can tell everyone that you have not been arrested for this or
I don't think I was
arrested. Yeah, right.
well, I think I know what you
That you weren't
that I was
involved. It never happened. Now, nobody will be able to find this with the search of our database here, our public database. The only thing I want to caution you about is sometimes private companies collect data before it's sealed. So it might be out there somewhere in a private.
Okay. But it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
I doubt it.
Like it won't be on my personal.
Right. So
If it's sealed within the court system.
correct.
Okay.
The other thing I want to tell you is you may want to ask the clerk's office for a copy of your entry dismissing and sealing this, because once we do that, even you can't get it. Once we seal it, if you came back to this court to get some records from that file, we pretend it doesn't exist either. So
Okay.
you want to keep a record for yourself.
Okay.
Like if somebody said, hey, do you have a file on you? We say, So if you, or I don't know, if you have a seat in the hall, clerk's office will call your name to pay the court cost, and also if you want a copy of that journal entry, can get it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh, Donald J. Skeller. Good morning, sir. Did you understand all those rights that I read?
Yeah.
You're charged with assured clear distance, that's a minor misdemeanor, no potential jail time, but a potential fine of up to $150. That ticket is from 7220 in the city of Greene, Summit County, Ohio. Do you understand the allegation?
Yeah.
How do you want to plead today?
Guilty.
Guilty? The court will accept your guilty plea and find you guilty. Is there anything you want to tell me before I impose a fine?
No.
I sent you a $35 fine plus court costs. Do you need time to pay?
No.
So all you need to do is have a seat in the hall and someone will tell you the total amount due.
They're not here, or above that.
Across the hall is the clerk's office, so somewhere in that direction so that when they call your name, you can hear. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Raphael Wheeler? Good morning. Did you understand all those rights that I read? Is that you? You're charged with no driver's license. That's an unclassified misdemeanor. It carries no potential jail time, but a potential fine of up to $1,000. Driving under suspension, that's also an unclassified misdemeanor. That carries no potential jail time, but a potential fine of up to $1,000. That charge is from 7/17/20 in the city of Barberton, Summit County, Ohio, alleging no LL and failure to renew. Do you understand the allegations here?
Not really, but I should say, yeah.
Do you understand, though, that they're just alleging that you didn't have a driver's license, that you were driving under suspension?
Yeah.
Sorry. Looks like you're now valid. How do you want to plead today? And I'll just tell you that if you did plead guilty because you were not valid at the time, I won't sentence you to any fines. You'll just have to pay the court costs.
How much is that?
Well, the court costs for you would probably be around $150. And don't quote me on that because that's where I'm guessing. Because there's two charges.
The $150, that'll just wipe everything out, because I just paid all this money to get my license back.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Well,
$150.
you know
that's
what, though?
everything.
Do you have proof of insurance
Yeah.
today?
Yeah.
Well, then the only thing you have to do is if you paid the $150, it should not affect your driver's license. Because if you have insurance, it's just a fine of court costs. It doesn't.
Yeah, I got the proof of insurance.
Yeah, I'll see that because that'll be helpful. Another thing you could do is do our driver intervention program. But that's a $100 fee. But it would cause a dismissal if you had the court came back with court cost money in full.
So they're going to,
So our slip program is, if you didn't have a valid license at the time, what we allow you to do is pay a $100 slip fee, come back with a valid license and court cost money, and then we dismiss your case completely. Dismiss the charges. You already have a valid license, so you're already halfway there.
yeah, I got it.
I don't know if you're interested in doing that because here's the depends on how you feel about having this on your record. They're both unclassified misdemeanors. But for you, if you did plead guilty to this charge, it'd be on your record as a traffic offense. But there wouldn't be any repercussions to your driver's license because you showed insurance. So there's no suspension or anything there. It won't make your license invalid as long as you pay the court costs, right? So you could do the slip program and wipe out the charges completely because they get dismissed, but that involves a $100 slip fee to do the program. So it'd be an extra $100, but the $100 basically it would be wiped out in terms of being on your record. So you tell me what you'd like to do.
I was trying to get stuff over,
All right. So do you want to plead guilty today
and that's just going to leave it with the file,
with the court costs?
and I don't have to take this stuff.
Right. There isn't a class. It's just a valid license and court cost money. Yeah, you would just get out of here and pay your court costs and be done.
Yeah, going to do that.
All right. So you want to plead guilty today? All right. So I'll accept your guilty plea and find you guilty, and I won't give you any fines, but you will have to pay the court costs here. I did mark that you have insurance. So the only thing you need to do now is have a seat. They'll give you the total amount of court costs too, all right? You can give me the wrong stuff too. Thank you.
So we're not.
If you just go in the hallway and have a seat, somebody will call your name. Robert Watkins. Good morning. Sir, did you understand all the rights that I read? You're charged with inducing panic. That's a first-degree misdemeanor. It carries potentially up to 180 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $1,000. You're charged with making false alarms. That's a first-degree misdemeanor. It carries potentially up to 180 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $1,000. Resisting arrest. That's a misdemeanor of the second degree. That carries potentially up to 90 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $750. The first complaint alleges on or about the 29th day of July in the township of Copley, Summit County, Ohio, that no person shall cause the evacuation of any public place or otherwise cause serious public inconvenience or alarm by doing any of the following: initiating or circulating a report or warning of an alleged impending fire, explosion, crime, or catastrophe, knowing that the report or warning is false, committing any offense with reckless disregard of the likelihood that its commission will cause serious public inconvenience or alarm in violation of the revised code, a first-degree misdemeanor. The second complaint alleges on or about the 29th day of July 2020 in the township of Copley, Summit County, Ohio, that you did. No person shall do any of the following: report to any law enforcement agency of an alleged offense or other incident within its concern, knowing that such offense did not occur. And misdemeanor of the first degree. And then the last complaint alleges on or about the 29th day of July in the township of Copley, Summit County, Ohio, that you did recklessly or by force resist or interfere with the arrest of yourself, in violation of the Ohio Revised Code, a misdemeanor of the second degree. Do you understand the allegations here? I'm sorry?
I do.
Okay. How do you want to plead today? Let's enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have a right to have an attorney. Are you able to afford your own attorney? Okay. What's your monthly income?
I don't have one now.
Okay. Do you own any property like a home? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint you a lawyer. Today we're going to set this for a pre-trial date. We'll give you that date today. That's the date you typically, your lawyer, and go over evidence and things like that, okay? So if you have a seat in one of these gray chairs, my bailiff will give you that date. Is Lai Yang here? Come up.
There's two more
We know it's, Mr. Boulder. He was the one,
Mr. Bolger?
he was the one that was calling for the continuance from.
Oh, right, he did not show.
Right.
I think they might need an official interpreter.
Oh, that's right, I think I took the plea with an interpreter.
I'm staying with Mr.
With Mr. Yang.
Yeah.
Last time I had an interpreter, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have to go to the small courtroom, the one you were in before with the interpreter with the phone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you go back in there so we can have the proceeding with an interpreter, all right?
All right.
All right, thank you. Michelle Radcliffe? Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, it looks like you would like to be on a new payment plan.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have $50 today or some amount of money?
I do not.
What
I
can
get paid next week
All right,
on Thursday.
so if you pay $50 by Thursday, you can have that payment plan. But we do need a first payment at
Okay.
least. Then you're working right now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you don't owe a whole lot of money compared to other people, so
Okay.
get it paid off pretty quickly.
Let me get to you as soon as I can.
I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
So I'm going to give this order to the clerk's office. Obviously, you're not making a payment today, but if you do make that payment by next week, by Thursday of next week, you will be on that new payment plan, okay? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
What are Patrice Smith's cases for us today? We're sending for suspension of the line, motion to dismiss. Wants to know about the mobilization, if they can have a club at his house.
Oh, yeah.
It's a second,
So it's 90 days?
yeah.
You know the house, you put phone address.
BB. Up there.
Where's this?
Okay.
So this goes with this. Harold Haynes? Good morning.
Morning,
Did you have a request today about a payment plan?
yes, I'm gonna start back taking my payments.
All right, do you have any money today?
Yes, I do.
All right, so we'll put you on a new payment plan.
Okay. But then,
What's your monthly income like? Do you have a fixed income? Do you have a big
all
income?
the fixed it.
All right, so how much money do you make per month?
Uh, 735 for disability,
Okay,
and I got a part-time job with Cardinal,
all right.
cleaning.
So if you pay $50 today, you'll be on a $25 a month payment. Is there a certain day of the month that works for you to make that payment?
Like every other Wednesday,
Is when you
every
get
2
it?
weeks,
So later in the month or earlier in the month, like the 25th of every month, does that work?
somewhere around there be okay,
We'll do.
because I get paid every other Wednesday.
So we'll make it August 20th. We'll make it August 28th
Okay.
because it's so your next payment will be due August 28th of
Okay.
$25. as you're staying on your payment plan, it shouldn't affect your driver's license at
Okay,
all.
so I don't have a suspension or anything, do I?
Um,
That's what I was.
it looks like you have a license forfeiture. Now that we've done this today, that will be lifted.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to know more about your driver's license, like what's going on with it, we could do a printout for you and you can see. Do
Okay.
you want to do that?
Yes.
All right, so if you have a seat, get that printout, and then you can go to the clerk's office and make that $50 payment and get it on the plan, okay? We do send that release to the BMV. You can get a copy of it as well if you
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Just have a seat back here.
Sure. Jason, can we do a BMV printout for him to look at? I already gave him a new payment plan, but he just wanted to see
Okay.
what's happening. Amanda Urban?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Let's see here what's going on. It looks like you still have some reinstatement fees.
I paid off my last ones.
Mhm.
Now, what had happened is during this time, we had COVID and the DMVs were closed and everything. Then I got sick. I was in the hospital for almost 2 months. And then when I got out, I got my SR-22. I paid the reinstatement fees I owed, and I was going to get my license, but I had another old case that I had went to in Akron, and they told me that my license was up for suspension on August 21st. So I didn't go ahead and get my license because since they're gonna be suspended anyhow, and he gave me papers to go for driving privileges and that, so we were gonna do that.
So here's my question. You're very close to having your license back. Do you want an extension?
But with me supposed to have them suspended on August 21st, am I able to still get them?
You're going to have it suspended on August 21st,
Yeah,
or,
it's a non-compliance suspension. We had like a lapse in our insurance when we were switching to somebody else, and
well, if you pay the fee, that'll give you be able to get your license back. They've changed that where, if you pay the reinstatement fee, if it's multiple times that you haven't had insurance, the period of time for you to be able to pay that fee and get your license back, it's longer, but it's still a short period of time. If you pay the reinstatement fee, you can get your license back from that. So,
what's the fee?
for you, it's $150, and you have to show an SR-22 bond. So here's what you gotta pay. You gotta pay the reinstatement fees, also show the BMV you have an SR-22 bond, and that puts you valid.
Okay, so then they won't suspend me on August 21st?
Well, okay, so you're saying you have a whole new thing that's gonna
Yes,
start. You got
yeah.
a notification of that.
Yes.
So yes, they will, but you could even do, after August 21st, if it's multiple times not showing, there is a period of time you can't get your license back, but it's not that long. Like, I don't know how many times you've not had insurance.
Twice.
So it would
This
be,
will be the second time.
I think it's a 15-day waiting period, and then you can pay the reinstatement fees. So it's gonna be more reinstatement fees than this.
Okay.
Do you wanna try to get your license back? I can give you 90 days.
Okay, I can
Because what's
try,
gonna
because
happen-
see, the thing, I'm sorry, I don't talk
That's a
over
risk. Well, what's gonna happen is that if this ticket goes, if I sentence you on this ticket, it's another no insurance. So it's another suspension with more reinstatement fees and a longer period where you can't get your license back.
Okay. Because I was gonna go ahead and just get them so I could have them and get those dismissed. And, the judge in Akron told me that they're so backed up with the driving part
Mhm.
that they're scheduling people at the end of September for that.
Because you think you have to retest too.
Yeah, I have to retest everything, so.
Yeah,
I
They're
was like,
scheduling. Well, I'll just tell you, my daughter took the driver's test yesterday, and she scheduled it 3 weeks ago. So
So
they might be
she's-
catching back up.
Okay.
And by the way, she flunked.
Hey, you live and you learn. Oh.
So anyway, you tell me what you want to do. You want to try again or not?
Yeah, let's go ahead and try again. I have the SR-22 already. I have that now. So you say I just pay the 115 reinstatement?
Yeah, and then you'll have to pay more reinstatement because the other ticket and might have more requirements is what it sounds like to do.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But
was
that
like
doesn't mean you can't
300.
get them done within the time we're giving you, you know? If you can get everything, if you have to retest, then you get that scheduled. You just have to be on top of it all, you know? You want to try that?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna have
try.
another suspension hearing too,
Okay, why would I have another suspension?
because you didn't show insurance.
What day was that?
That was on 7/16/20.
7/16.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2/16.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay,
February 16th.
okay, I had insurance then, I can bring that in, I had insurance in February, it was March where we lapsed, searching for a new consult policy, I just didn't get that.
So do you want to just get this over with?
Yeah, I do wanna try.
Then
and
you gotta
find-
get that insurance proof to the BMD
Okay,
or here to us today, or you're gonna have enough more problems.
okay, I can do that today, I'll show them, I'll pull it up on my phone, do I show the clerk in there?
Or you can show me right now.
Might take this.
I have to fill out it for me right now.
Okay. It was till when, February?
It was February 16th.
Really should label my stuff. Right here it is. Oh, wait, that was at 19, right?
That was actually 20. 2/16/20.
Oh, 20, okay.
Oh, you're still looking for that.
Sorry.
That's okay. I just want to, is there anything else you want to say before I close this sentence? So I'm going to sentence you to a $30 fine plus court costs. I am going to give you time to pay. Make sure you make your payments, because that's another thing that messes up your, like if you make all this progress getting your license back and then you don't pay regularly, then we can do a forfeiture and it'll knock the whole thing out of whack again. And I sent you 180 days in jail, but I am suspending all 180 days on condition that you pay all laws for the next 2 years. If you would take a minute program. They can, I believe what they do is eliminate some of those costs. So that's something you have to speak to you about.
Okay, all right, I will, thank
All right,
you.
yeah, take your time. If you want to sit here and look, just let me know if you can't find it right now, and that's fine too. We could just send you over and you can look for that a little harder at home or something.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Johnny Merritt? She's looking for insurance.
Okay.
Good morning. Last in that big group, huh? So it looks like you got sentenced into the SLIP program, but you don't have a license yet, a valid license. Do you think you could do it with more time?
Pandemic thing kind of set me back and threw me off, so.
Yeah, because also the DMV wasn't open.
Yeah.
So you got sentenced right when the pandemic started. That's why I was asking.
Kind of lost track after that. So.
Yeah, so you have to take the driver's license exam again. That stinks. Remedial boards. And then you could probably get on a payment plan for the reinstatement. That's not so bad. Do you think you could do this in about 90 days?
Yes.
All right, so I'll give you 90 more days. All right. If you have a seat in the hallway, the probation department will give you an exact date to come back to court, okay? Thank you. You
My
did fine.
phone just died.
Okay,
So I
All right.
didn't realize.
Yeah.
Can I bring it back in?
you can, another thing you can do is go straight to the BMV and show them.
Show them at the B&B?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Do I wait up here?
Yes.
Okay.
Noreen Fowl?
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. We're here in 20 TRC 1060. Noreen Fowl, present in the courtroom with Ms. Fowl is her attorney, Attorney Brian Smith. Also present in the courtroom is Attorney Roberts on behalf of the state. We are set for a suppression hearing this morning. It sounds like the parties have reached a resolution in this matter, and that the defendant will be withdrawing that suppression motion. I'll hear that resolution from the prosecutor.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the state would move to amend the OBI to a physical control in exchange for a plea to that amended charge. We'd be recommending a 3-day driver intervention program, $375 fine plus cost, and a 1-year license suspension.
Attorney Smith.
That's my understanding as well, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, I will state, I don't believe she was placed on an ALS, so I think the license suspension would have to begin effective.
Is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor. As far as the license suspension, I know she did do a breath test that actually came back under the legal limit. So as far as the ALS, it's possible she may not have been placed under one. We would ask the court to consider backdating the suspension if that would be possible.
I can't backdate it if it was never placed on. I imagine that since she did blow under the legal limit, they did not put one on, because they typically only do that if it's over.
Judge, do you have the certified driving record in the file?
May.
Yeah, they do that anyway,
They
because
do
they
it
read it
anyway,
to us,
right.
yeah. In the back, there's, normally the court gets from the OBI's, the certified driving record, which would tell us. if there was any loss. I don't believe that there was, but, I mean, if there was, obviously, it would be, yeah, that loose paper in the very, very back. Yep. So we'd ask that a suspension be effective today.
Ma'am, you can get privileges on that suspension for the whole year.
Need them for sure.
Yeah. So things like medical appointments, work, we even allow some, as long as you can tell us a time and day of the week, we can allow some things like grocery shopping, okay? All right. Anything else?
No, Your Honor, we would just ask, my client's on a fixed income, she's on Social Security. If it would be possible to consider either maybe reducing the fine or in the alternative, giving her time to pay that. She's gonna have some costs, obviously, with the VIP and kind of stretching her finances, so anything that the court can do about the fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, your attorney tells me you're prepared to enter a guilty plea to an amended charge of physical control. Is that your intent today?
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, if we could plead no contest, we'll stipulate to a fine.
Oh,
So,
There was-
and
Whatever he says.
stipulating to a finding of guilt, you're saying?
Yes, there was an accident.
All right. Your attorney tells me you're prepared to enter a no contest plea to an amended charge of physical control. Is that your intent
yes,
today?
it is.
Physical control is still a first-degree misdemeanor. It carries potentially up to 180 days in jail and a potential fine of up to $1,000. Do you understand that amended charge? Do you understand the amended charge?
Yes, I do.
You do have the right to have a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and subpoena them to court. You have the right to confront any witnesses who testify against you. You couldn't be forced to make any statements at any point in the proceedings, and you do have the right to have a prosecutor prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of every element of this amended offense. Do you understand you have all of those rights?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand that by entering a no contest plea, you're waiving all of those rights?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand that a no contest plea is an admission of the truth of the facts in the complaint, but not an admission of guilt, but it permits the court to make a guilty or not guilty finding?
Yes.
Are you a United States citizen? Are you on probation or parole? And finally, this is still considered a traffic violation, so a record of your conviction does go to the Ohio BMV. It does become part of your driving record, and any action taken by the BMV with regard to your driver's license is independent of this court. For example, it's the BMV that would put points on your license. I don't believe this is a point offense though, right? Maybe it's a 2-point.
It's a 0 point.
But it's also the BMV that would suspend your license if you didn't show proof of insurance. You did show insurance, so that doesn't apply to you, but what my meaning is, the BMV could do separate things to your license based on this that have nothing to do with the court. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So knowing all of these things, how do you want to plead to the amended charge of physical control of first-degree misdemeanor?
No contest.
The court will accept your no contest plea, and your attorney indicated that you were stipulating to a finding of guilt, so the court is finding you guilty. You will proceed to sentencing. Is there anything else from the prosecution?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else from the defense?
No, Your Honor, we just accept what we stated earlier.
The court is going to follow the agreement. I'm sentencing you to a $375 fine plus court costs. I will give you time to pay. You're on fixed income. How much money are you making a month?
I'm living on $1,000 a month.
All right, so we'll put you on a $25 a month payment plan. We'll delay your first payment until August so you can get those funds for the driver intervention program. We'll say August 28th. And then your payment's going to be due on the 28th of each month after that, okay? I'm sentencing you to 180 days. In the Summit County Jail, but I'm suspending 177 of those days on the condition that you will obey all laws for the next 2 years. In lieu of the 3 days in jail that I didn't suspend, I'm sentencing you to a 3-day driver intervention program. I am suspending your driver's license for 1 year commencing today. I will give you privileges if you need them. We have a form my bailiff can give you that shows what you need to show us.